Good evening, and thank you, Ryan. A pleasure as always, and we're going to have to say goodbye to our good old friend there, Riddits. But you are joined now by myself, Wilson, and the sweet lady, Succubus.
Hello.
Yeah. And we've got one hell of a game in store for you tonight, guys. It's going to be the Battle of the Clans Cup 2, and we've been looking forward to it for quite a while now. Two nice teams, TopK and Sin5.
Yeah, well, Sin5's got a bit of a history with DGL. I mean, they're placed 5th and 2nd division at the moment, and they haven't dropped a single game in the BOT, so I'm anxious to see how they will do here. I mean, I know the fans, rooting for TopK, because they're kind of the underdogs, but, they're unranked in DGL as in DGL competition, so it's nice to see them on top of the league with a 2nd division 5th place team as well. So, I mean, they by no means discounted from the competition.
Absolutely. Like you said, the fandom is definitely behind the boys from TopK.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Sin5 yet to drop a game. And, of course, I mean, they've gotten through with one forfeit so far.
Yeah, TopK had one forfeit win, and then they dropped one game versus Hive Dota. But it's like one game was 2-1, and then they won everything else after that. So the real test stands against Sin5 Clouds. So we'll have to see what they...
Of course, I mean, there's a lot of big names in this as well. You've got people like Cloud, who's been around the block more than once.
Oh, yeah. We've got Voodoo, we've got Fing Fang. Then on the other side, a lot of people know like DJ Vega, they know the Aghanims, And then obviously we've got our little Game Reaper in there as well, standing in as a reserve. Hi, Game Reaper.
Our little Game Reaper.
Yeah, well, he's a 17-year-old boy, and he plays with us quite often, actually. We've played with him quite a bit, and he's also a potential caster, so it's going to be interesting to see how he plays in a professional setting.
Yeah, can casters actually play?
Yeah.
Well, the coin has been tossed, and we're just about ready to kick into game 1. It's going to be TopK first pick, so do stay tuned, and let's take a look at what they muster up within the draft. Right, so what do we expect coming out here for the draft from TopK?
From the draft to TopK? Well, I'm not too sure because I haven't actually seen a lot of their games, but I mean, I know what Aghanim and Game Reaper like to play. I know what Cloud and Fing Fang like to play, but it'll be interesting to see what they do in a professional setting.
Yeah, certainly, and I've certainly watched them play a couple of times. Not a bad bunch. I've actually ended up having a few tussles myself from the boys of TopK. Earlier today, in fact, I played DJ Vega. I got horribly mangled, but it was a great deal of fun. And honestly, when you come to the professional field, you do tend to play differently.
So how badly did you lose, Wilson?
I don't think we need to share that. If anyone's really interested, they're welcome to hit me up on Facebook or, of course, get a hold of the boys from DGL. I'm sure they'll more than happily oblige. Nonetheless, Sinister 5, we've spoken about their progression through this tournament. So they are, statistically speaking, the expected team to win here.
Yeah, well, they're the more experienced team, but I mean, you don't necessarily have players that are new on either side. I mean, Aghanim's been playing for years. Game Reaper maybe, but I mean, Fing Fang, Cloud, Voodoo, they're all veteran players. So it's by no means, I don't think we'll see a one-sided match. I think they'll give each other a run for the money. Because they actually haven't faced each other yet in this BOT. So the Battle of the Clans, they haven't actually physically faced each other yet. So this is the first time they're meeting up.
Yep, certainly. And with Aghanim and DJ Vega in tow, TopK is certainly well prepped. However, does stand Sin5 in good reason. The fact that they've only been together 2 weeks and they've had such a resounding success so far. Nonetheless, let's kick off straight into the draft as it is already well underway. We have ourselves our Shadow Demon here from the side of TopK. First ban, pretty common stuff. On the other side of the coin, the Riki Maru has been taken out by Sinister 5. Joining them in the ban pool will be that Silencer from TopK, and that's an interesting one. And last but certainly not least in the first phase of bans is going to be that Faceless Void.
I don't know. For me, Silence is not an interesting ban, and Silence is pretty annoying to deal with. I mean, he steals your intelligence every time he kills you. His silence is pretty annoying. It forces people to get BKBs, Yule Scepters, that type of thing. So, I mean, silence is a pretty common ban. Maybe not in the top tier picks, but I mean, you've got a lot of top tier bans here, like Shadow Demon's being banned out or being picked. We saw it at Rage and Masters and everything that he was a top tier pick. Ricky, I mean, remember Odu Ricky? That devastation.
Yeah, the Odu treatment.
The Odu treatment, yeah. And then you've obviously got the Faceless Void, which is frequently picked these days. And then obviously we've got another top tier pick, 2 top tier picks, Axe, which I am very happy to see.
Yeah,
I love me
baby.
some Axe, you know. And then we've got the fat man with double heads, Ogre. And I know you like to play Ogre. You've been playing him quite a lot actually recently.
Well, it's a good, strong, heavy nuke. Certainly in these early stages of the game, you've got yourself that Fire Blast, which buys you a little bit of time in the early laning phase, as well as the Ignite, which obviously is great for harass in the laning stage. He's also incredibly tanked, so you just park him in front, and it buys whoever's behind him all the space and all the time he needs to quietly farm away. He's great for rotations and combos up nicely with right clickers as a result of his Bloodlust as well.
Yeah.
And later in the game, he does transition into good utility as well. So, all around a pretty decent pick. Not surprised to see him come out in the first phase, but it does indicate that the lineup is probably going to head towards a right clicker of some sort or another. It could be a Drow, could be something like that.
Yeah,
Especially since the
Bloodlust,
Drow
yeah.
has made it through the ban phase. Dazzle, however, is going to be joining the boys from Sinister 5, and that's a great combo for an Axe.
That's definitely a great combo, but I mean, Ogre Magi, Bloodlust late game is absolutely amazing, especially if it stacks up with any other attack modifiers that hero has. But anyway, Dazzle Axe, very, very common pub stomping combo, and I mean, it's absolutely devastating. I mean, you just have Axe spinning with a heal bomb, shallow wave, you know, and you can just call Berserker's Call, heal. You know, he gets into a bit of trouble, you can always shallow grave him. Plus that minus armor is just absolutely ridiculous as well. But then we have an insta Ancient Apparition pick. Now that's going to negate Dazzle for all intents and purposes. It's going to negate his heal.
Yeah, it's going to make his heal a little bit less effective in the team fight, assuming the Ancient Apparition does manage to land the Ice Blast just on point. It is going to take a lot of tricky movement, and TopK is going to have to be very careful about where they position the Ancient Apparition, however, because he's an incredibly squishy human being. Doesn't necessarily like to get up in people's faces and doesn't exactly stand all too strong.
Well, he's kind of like an ice monster. I wouldn't call him a human being. Anyway, we take a look at the bans here. We've got the Alchemist and the Invoker. Alchemist, interesting ban. Invoker, not so much. I mean, we've spoken about Invoker in the past. One of the most versatile mids in the game. Versatile heroes. I mean, you can build him into a team fight. You can build him into a heavy nuke carry and also a pusher. So very versatile hero, but also very hard to get right. So in the hands of a skilled player, an Invoker can devastate the map. What do you think about the Slark ban, though?
Slark, it's a bit of a classic, I got to be honest. Slark these days is relatively picked up often. Mostly because he can get to the back line, so obviously Sinister 5 a little bit worried about what the Slark could pull out of the pocket for the rest of their draft. They might be looking for something that likes to sit in the background, like a sniper, especially since you have the Axes already built to kind of keep people away from the back lines. He's there to get the call in, make sure people can't get beyond the front lines. So Slark is one of those characters that can kind of do that and get away with it very, very easily, especially if he gets a great start, can start butchering the team apart. The Alchemist taken out by Sinister 5, though, is rather indicative, don't you think?
Yeah, well, the thing is, if they want to pick a draw or anything like that, a Slark is definitely, you know, a ban to make. But, I mean, Axe kind of, you know, counters a Slark in a way. He just calls him, and if he can go get him down low enough, he can obviously just, you know, use that giant blade of his and chop his head off. But, I mean, stacks up, but he needs the blink, he needs the blade mail, and they will have to stack it up with more disable. So you have to pick Axe into Tinker, for instance. But I mean, banning the Huskar for me is a little bit excessive since you've already got the Axe Dazzle combo. I don't think they'll have Axe Dazzle and a Huskar. That's a little bit excessive. I suppose you could put the Huskar Dazzle lane, you could have the Axe going off lane or in the jungle, constantly ganking in between lanes. So I guess there's a bit of a fear, especially since you have an Ancient Apparition on the field. Ogre Magi, not so much as a very tanky support, but nonetheless an interesting ban for me.
It's also, it makes a lot of sense to me as well, also because the Huskar does resist a lot of magical damage when he loses the... when he loses a lot of HP. So that would essentially negate the Ogre Magi's nuke abilities, and I don't know, makes a lot of sense to me. It's another thing that could sit with the Dazzle, and here's a pick that I was expecting from the beginning. A Morphling picked up by TopK, and Juggernaut picked up by Sinister 5. Now, Juggernaut got a built-in BKB, certainly helps him out in the early laning stages. But he will have to pick up quite a lot of farm here.
Yeah, he will. I like the Morphling pick, but at the same time, I don't like the OD. Morphling's nice against Jug late game. There's not much a Jug can do against a Morphling late game. You're going to need a lot of disables. So I would have expected Sinister 5 to maybe pick up a Tinker. So since they've already got the Axe, so Axe Tinker, that Morphling is going to be, you know, it's not going to be fun for a Morphling. I mean, you get Perma Sheeped, you get Axe Called. There's not much a Morphling can do against that. But picking up into the OD, yes, it's also a good pick. I mean, OD does so much damage, and especially with those lovely interiors on the map as well, it's also going to do quite a bit of damage to the Morphling, but I'm just worried that it's not going to be enough versus a Morphling late game. Of course, he doesn't have the Shadow Demon to make, you know, 600 illusions of himself, but there are other options. So, I mean, they could also pick a Magnus as well into the Morphling, have the Morphling empower and hit for like 600 damage, like no problem. Maybe just build the Manta and have 3 Morphlings instead of 6. But as we see, they answered straight back with a Drow Ranger. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that? She's going to have to, I think she's going to be careful for the Axe, though, because she's pretty easy pickle for Axe early game.
Yeah, well, the Ogre Magi, as soon as the Ogre Magi came out, then essentially you should have seen something like a Drow coming out. So I'm not all that surprised to see her foray into the field. The Outworld Devourer, however, does combo up nicely with the Axe as well. Also because the Axe Call can kind of group people up, make sure that when the Outworld Devourer drops the Sanity's Eclipse, it's effective on all 5 of them.
It is effective, but I'm still worried about this Drow. I really am, because you've got the Axe,
yes,
then you've got the Jug.
Yeah.
It's just like she is just a target. She literally essentially has a target on her head.
Well, TopK is going to have to look for something to keep them nailed down into the front lines now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a few options left. There's something like a Centaur Warrunner, who also brings nice initiation to the field. Great Escape as well, if it's absolutely necessary, you can pop that. Or I was going to say a Tide Hunter could do that as well.
Definitely ban out. I would definitely ban out the Tide about now. Thing is, they've already essentially got a nice team fight. I mean, you got Ancient Apparition. So, I mean, unfortunately, the Void's been banned out. So, I mean, that's no longer an option. But like I said, they could still opt to get a Magnus.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep, Magnus is a possibility. Certainly something that can keep people away from the Drow in case the Axe does happen to charge in. Grab a great call. The Magnus could skewer him from one side to the other side of the fight and then drop down his own reverse polarity. It's an option available to them, but we'll have to see where their mind lingers. Now, with the Tide Hunter taken out for the side of TopK, they're going to be looking for that off-laner in all likelihood.
I don't know. I think we'll see different. Okay, I definitely want to see the Axe Dazzle lane just because it's like, you know, pump stop classic. But I could potentially see them going for another support here and maybe having a tri lane with a Jug and the Axe going off lane, putting the OD mid, or essentially they could put the OD off lane, having the Jug going mid. I mean, this is a very versatile draft right now because you got 3 heroes that can essentially stand on their own in a lane. Jug can stand on his own lane. He's got escape. He's got massive damage. He's got that healing ward. If he you know, maneuvers it in a way that they can't get to it, like they can't right click it, then, you know, Jug can essentially stand on his own Axe. You know, get him a ring of protection, get him a stout shield, and he can YOLO into the lane no matter what he wants to do. So, and then you've got OD, who obviously has escape as well. But here's another top tier pick, Sand King. Absolutely devastating caustic finale right now. Absolutely devastating.
Yeah, that Sand King is likely going to be looking towards laning wherever the Juggernaut lays his head.
Most likely, yes.
And that should keep him more or less in tow, unless, of course, he's got some backup of some sort or another. Hence the Lion ban, I suspect, from the side of TopK. Making a lot of sense if you're going to be picking up that Sand King. Sandstorm not really going to do all that much when you constantly get impaled by the Lion as well.
It's not just that. It's Lion's got 3 targeted spells that can negate Morphlings, Lincolns later as well. So it's a very good ban. I mean, all he has to do is, you know, mana drain, mana drain the Morphling and use that essentially not useless spell, but quick cooldown spell. And then he can just go Hex, you know, stun, and they can throw all these other combos onto the Morphling. So, I mean, it's a very good ban for their side. Makes a lot of sense. With Sand King, though, he pretty much these days wins any melee on melee lane because of that extremely devastating caustic finale buff.
Here's what I'm worried about. with an Outworld Devourer
Yeah.
on the side of Sinister 5, now joined by a Rubik of all things.
I've got to say, I was expecting something like that. I told you they needed to pick up another support.
What's TopK going to do?
What's TopK gonna do? Seriously, with a lovely little Rubik.
Yeah.
Well, Rubik can steal a lot. There's a lot of good stuff to steal here, and I mean, they were looking for another support here. So I mean, for me, this was kind of the pick they were heading towards. I mean, because I mean, the line was banned out. The Rubik's also got 2 targeted spells as well.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly take a look at the Battle of the Clans Cup 2 roster, and let's see the journey that they've gone through. Sinister, having obviously won each and every one of their game, following up there at the top. Sinister 5R, it's a 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and here they are up against the boys from TopK, who went through their very own journey, and it includes 1 forfeit in the beginning, as well as 2 or 3 victories along the way. So, I mean, both teams have proven themselves worthy to be here at the finals.
They have, and like I said, it's going to be nice to see how an unranked team in the DGL status does against a ranked team that places 5th in 2nd division. And both of these teams have very well-known players on either side. And
I'm so keen to see the boys from Sinister 5. They've only been together for 2 weeks, and they're already topping the chart here.
Yeah, I mean, ranking 5th is a pretty big thing. I mean, they've dropped 4 and 1-3, which is quite a bit. And I think this will be an interesting match. I don't know if it will be one-sided for either side. We'll have to see, since we haven't seen these teams face each other yet. So I'm actually pretty excited. I don't know about you, Wilson, but I'm excited.
So, without any further ado, as the game does kick off, let's introduce you to the sides. On the side of the Radiant, played by Sin 5. Cloud is going to be picking up that Outworld Devourer. General Grootwors is going to be on that Axe. He's going to be joined by AVB on the Rubik, looking for some cheeky steals out of him. Voodoo will be jumping onto that Juggernaut. And the last, but certainly not least in this grandeur lineup, is going to be the Dazzle. Fling Flang in tow.
Yeah, and on the side of the Dire, the naughty red side of the Dire, we have TopK Aghanim on that Drow Ranger, devastating right click, and it looks like they're going to be smoking up and heading towards, I think they're going to clash up together. Anyway, then we have on the lovely Ancient Apparition, we have Melkis playing that position 5. We have Pra on your Sand King, Game Reaper on that Ogre Magi, and last but not least, we have DJ Vega playing your Carry Morphling.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what DJ Vega can bring out of the bag on that Morphling. I've watched him play before, and like I said, I've felt his sting today. So we'll see if he can recreate what he did earlier on a Mirana Game Reaper. In the meantime, spotting out Fling Flang, who has to make a hasty escape into the trees here. But that's going to mean the end of the smoke, and unfortunately, not much else other than the secured bounty rune for the side of TopK. I'm sure they wanted to walk away with a little bit more, but Sin 5 obviously are a little bit wiser to their tricks and saw that nonsense coming.
Yeah, we see Aghanim, the Drow Ranger, pick up the bounty for the side of TopK, and Voodoo for the side of Sinister 5. And it looks like we're going to see a jug mid. I hope not. Yes, so actually we are going to see a jug mid. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares against this Drow Ranger. Because remember, we have the Chilling Touch as well as her aura together. And that creates a devastating right click.
I think this is exactly what they should have done. And having the Juggernaut stuck in a lane with the Sand King certainly would not have helped. It looks like that TopK have a similar idea, letting Aghanim mid here in the Drow Ranger, and keeping Melkis nearby on that Ancient Apparition, making sure that nothing too untoward happens. In the interim, however, AVB exchanging words with Game Reaper in the top lane, and General Grootwors is going to start getting very aggressive. DJ Vega's got to keep his HP to about 50%, otherwise he's going to be in serious trouble, and there's going to be a lot of tower diving going on.
Yeah, well, it's interesting in lanes. I mean, we've got the Axe, Dazzle, and the Rubik. So it's an Axe tri-lane, looking for those early towers, the Rat Axe, essentially. So I'm expecting to see the first tower go down in probably about 5 to 10 minutes' time. I think the Odie versus Sand King matchup is actually really good, because Odie can kind of keep his distance from that Caustic Finale if he watches his positioning, and I think he would have possibly gone mid against the Drow if the Sand King pickup didn't come out last time. So now we've got a Drow versus jug lane, and it's going to be interesting to see how the last hits are doing versus these lanes here.
Yep, and last hits-wise, we're sitting top of the charts is going to be that Axe at 5 for 3, immediately taken over by the Sand King now. And unfortunately, well, Porter is in a very good, strong spot, having picked up that early Caustic Finale, and this is pretty normal stuff. If a Sand King does manage to get a nice rolling start, he gets a nice early Blink Dagger, can start getting very useful across the map. Speaking of which, Melkis gets lifted towards the top lane, AVB trying to make something happen, but unfortunately, General Gruetforce just wasn't there in time for the call. Maybe a little bit more team coordination would have walked away with a kill there. In the meantime, mid lane, Voodoo getting aggressive onto Aghanim.
Yeah, to be honest, I maybe would have swapped out the lanes here now. I'll probably put the Sand King here and secure the Morphling somewhere else, because the Morphling is going to struggle to get farm here. And, I mean, yeah, he can catch up with his wave later, but he's going to struggle for early game items here. And this is exactly what this lane is designed to do.
I think the only thing he's going to be waving at is his farm, as it leaves him very, very quickly in the early stages of the game. He's currently sitting at about 5th position at... That's not where you want to see your carry sitting at all. Now, Game Reaper's going to have to be very, very active here, and I expect a lot more ignites out of him in the early stages of the match to try and keep this rampaging Axe at bay. The problem is, doesn't matter how much you harass him, there is always the heal from the Dazzle nearby.
Yes, and the fact that he's got his Ring of Protection and his Star Shield, which I predicted in the start, because I mean, my starting items for Axe is that as well. And it does look like we got some action going on here with the Odie and the Sand King, but Odie says, no, I'm going to imprison you and you cannot go on me today. But it looks like a relatively hard lane for them. I mean, they're kind of going even.
Towards the top lane, sorry to interrupt. It looks like the Ogre getting caught up, and there was the call to follow up, but the follow-up from the side of TopK is pretty damn good. The Shadow Grave is there just in time. That's going to secure the first blood for the boys of Sin 5. And Ancient Apparition walks away with the counter kill at the very least. But now he's going to have to be very, very quick on his feet. There is a charging Rubik behind him who doesn't have the mana to pick him up with the telekinesis as well. Teeping in will be green there, and that's going to be Game Reaper again. Down will go the Ancient Apparition. Nothing special there to be expected, as now Sin 5 is going to have to make the hasty escape. Now DJ Vega trying to get the counter kill. He does walk away with one kill as Game Reaper parks his fat butt right in the way.
Yeah, and I think the advantage goes to TopK there. I mean, yeah, they lost 2 supports, but they got the core Axe and the Rubik. So I mean, 2 supports for a core, yeah, and it's first blood as well. So I mean, for me, even if you got the first
bottom lane, it looks like Cloud's in a spot of trouble. He's actually just gonna pop, and Porter is making magic happen here up against the Outworld Devourer. I really wasn't expecting this lane to go quite so badly for him.
Yeah, they shouldn't be trading evenly on last hits either. I mean, Odie does a bit more damage. He's ranged. He can harass more. So, for me, it's kind of weird to see that. As we see here in the mid lane, we've also got a relatively even last hits and denies basing here. But now Aghanim getting a little bit of damage here onto Voodoo. Up one last uphill miss. What do you think about his item build here? Poor Man's Shield versus the Drow. Like for me, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's up against the range here. It's kind of what you need to do.
It has been paying dividends.
It has been paying dividends. But what I don't like to see here from Aghanim is no level and silence. So she's basically got no escape if she gets ganked.
Yep, and that is the idea from AVB, who's right here in tow with Flink Flang. I'm sure they're going to want to make a move shortly. Aghanim picking up a bit of damage from the spin there from Voodoo. But unfortunately, AVB does manage to get on out of there in the top lane. The Ogre Magi walks away with yet another kill on the Axe.
All right.
Yeah, certainly. Well, unfortunately, Aghanim is okay. Look, there is a benefit to not picking up the Gust. Gust is a disengage of sorts, but if he's careful with his positioning, which generally Aghanim as a player is, he's actually really, really good at that usually. So he might be able to get away with it, and they're going to have to get very creative if they want to gank using Flink Flang and AVB. He's got the lift for him, but it's still going to be very, very challenging to get close enough to Aghanim to actually pick him up.
Yeah, it's hard. And I also think that he went in a little bit prematurely. His supports weren't exactly ready, so they kind of had to run, behind their carry. I think if they let the supports go in and he played a bit more passively, they might have gotten the kill on that draw, since she hasn't got a silence yet. So I think he was kind of over-eager there, in my opinion anyway. He kind of tanked his own gank. so to speak.
Yeah, but in the meantime, though, take a look at mid lane. Porter's there, Invis, and Voodoo's in a spot of trouble. He does pick up the stun, nagging him, whacking away. And this is going to be a very easy kill thanks to that Invis rune picked up by Porter just moments ago. And that's going to swing things in the favor of TopK quite convincingly, as Aghanim has been looking for that kill for a while.
Yeah, he has indeed, but he just needs a little bit of help from the Sand King and the Ancient Apparition, which, essentially is good because it gives him a bit of advantage. But here we see another little engagement going. Battle Hunger now into Game Reaper. This could be a kill, but I think the axe is going to get frozen up. Oh, he doesn't get frozen up. He actually moves along swiftly. This is potentially a death here for Game Reaper, but he's so tanky.
Yeah.
That's the problem about going on this Ogre. He's just so tanky.
Ooh, the wave is good. DJ Vega seeing the opportunity and taking it down. Rubik hits the deck, and DJ Vega walks away with another $230 in the bank to just help him along in his journey. So I guess his net worth is going to be reflecting all these kills very, very soon. He's sitting at 2-9 at the moment, just behind Porter.
And it looks like here, Paraz in a little bit of trouble, dropping relatively low here. Fing Fang trying to get some damage in, but taking more damage from the creep wave than actually harassing him. It's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, you could see Cloud and him getting into tussles, and if he stayed behind a little bit longer, I think Fing Fang could have potentially done something. But a little bit of a late TP and rotation coming out from him. But we see some action coming in the mid lane. We've got Voodoo hiding in the trees very sneakily over here, and on the other side we have the Rubik as well. So it looks like they want to go on the draw, but he might get in between two heroes here, as the Ogre Magi doesn't actually seem to notice that he's there. Spin goes on to Aghanim now. He needs to be very careful. Does he have ulti? Yes, he does. And down will go Aghanim. Stunned up is the Ogre Magi. Game Reaper might get a return kill here. I think, yeah, he does not have his healing ward. I think Voodoo is pretty dead here, and well played to Game Reaper for that return kill. Very, very, very well played. Unfortunately, Aghanim dropping before, so the advantage still kind of goes to the Juggernaut. But it looks like they're exchanging hits yet again.
Yep.
Oh my God, is he going to get another kill here?
I don't think so. There is a good, strong disengage, from the telekinesis. Game Reaper, unfortunately, without any more mana, cannot make anything happen. However, in the bottom lane, Sand King hits the deck, and Dazzle walks away with his head.
Jeez. That Ogre Magi early game is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, no one can really contest him with, he's maxing that Ignite as well, which is really, really good. But I mean, sitting at 900 HP as a support with Brown Boots and a Windlace and an Orb of Venom is ridiculous. I mean, what support can you think of that has that?
Yeah. Well, Cloud now has the levels to back it on up. And he is leading the last hits chart. Net worth-wise, he's sitting in second position, just behind DJ Vega here on the Morphling in the top lane. But now that General Grootwors is being left to his own devices, he should be just fine as long as nothing happens from
God, you're
top
gonna
lane.
love that name. General Grootwors.
It's incredibly South African, isn't it?
It's incredibly South African, and that's how we know we're in a South African DGL match, guys. General Grootwors has come to town.
Yeah, the lift is good from AVB, though. In comes the wave, and he's actually picking up more than he can chew. Down he will go. Stunned now will be the axe, though, and he's going to try and make something happen. Getting a few spins in onto DJ Vega. He's going to go for the strength morph. In the meantime, a little bit of backup comes in the form of Fling Flang. He's now going to start taking up a lot of damage from DJ Vega. Vega going for the kill. Fling Flang getting a nice shallow grave just in time. They're trying to take down Game Reaper. He's just too damn tank. Down he will go, the Dazzle, and DJ Vega picking up yet another kill. General Grootwors now outnumbered and outgunned. He's being chased to Game Reaper, who does finally get the dunk off, and now he's on out of there. Wow, it takes a lot to kill the axe, but damn, they gave a lot away just to take down just that silly little Ogre Magi. This is not working out for them. If you're going to initiate and chase after someone, it's got to be less tank than the Ogre.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mistake that they keep going onto the Ogre every single time. I mean, rather go for the more squishy hero and gain momentum and attacks, gain, that lovely little dunk buffs that you get with Axe. So, I mean, I would rather initiate onto the Ancient Apparition or maybe go try gank the Jar, but it's, on the mid lane here. I don't think anything's going to come of this. He does have Omni Slash available. This could potentially be another kill onto poor Aghanim.
Yeah, but he does get lifted, and there is the ulti if absolutely necessary, not required from Voodoo. And Aghanim was just too far forward for any help. Game Reaper was there on the sidelines, but there really was nothing he could do.
Yeah, and I must say, great rotations from the supports here on the side of Sin 5. I mean, they've been making things happen for their Jug. They've been making things happen for their Axe. Yes, they keep going on the Ogre, which is potentially a mistake, but they've definitely boosted their lovely carries play. I mean, Voodoo has just gotten way too much out of the lane versus Drow, I feel. But he has died twice for his efforts.
Game Reaper maybe going to be in a spot of trouble. He does get the stun out, but Voodoo's happy to take this fight. He tanks it though. Game Reaper's so bloody fat. He's now run out of places to run as VP comes on in. Out comes the AALT. Is it going to connect? It will onto Voodoo. He should be okay though as DJ Vega gets a nice little wave on in and picks up the kill onto the Dazzle. Thanks to Aghanim's involvement as well. Now it's time to make a hasty retreat for the side of this Sin 5 in case they're going to give away anything more. And yep, that is it. Even though Cloud is nearby, he doesn't really want to get involved in that if it's not guaranteed to win.
Look at this Jug.
Where's he going?
I don't know. Oh, he's going for his run. That's hilarious. He's pathing the way he ran there. And you got all 4 heroes trying to chase you down. Oh, jeez.
But there is an axe nearby, so maybe they might be able to turn things around here.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his Blink Dagger though, so he can't really jump in and surprise them. He's opted to go for the more tanky regen route, going
Vega.
Vanguard first.
Yeah, he's pretty agi morphed up. He's going to be a spot of trouble. There's the jump. It's good enough, and the AALT lands the Ice Blast. That is going to mean a very dead axe. Great turnaround from TopK there. Looked like DJ Vega might have been in a spot of trouble, but he's just too damn quick on his wave. They just can't catch him. Voodoo in the meantime making a hasty escape to the left-hand side. Now AVB trying to get out of there. Oh, just missing the stun that was bound for him from Game Reaper. Now Game Reaper in a spot of trouble yet again. He's going to start picking up a lot of damage from Voodoo. Voodoo getting a nice fat crit and walking away with the kill there. Now in comes AVB. AVB now dropping low. He's going to have to get out of there before DJ Vega gets anything else in. And he's going to start getting a lot of damage from Cloud, who's made his appearance here on the Outworld Devourer and is giving chase. In comes the Astral Imprisonment. That's going to buy them a bit more time. Voodoo going in. He does want this kill. DJ Vega without mana. He cannot strength morph. He's going to go down beneath his tier 1 tower, and the tier 1 tower is going to be joining him. There is a little bit of lag. This is server side, I'm afraid.
Must say, great play from the Dazzle coming out there. I mean, he just shallow grave that Jug at just the right time, giving enough time to escape, get some mana, come back into the fight, get his healing ward out. Essentially healing his whole team. I mean, healing ward is absolutely ridiculous. You know, I mean, it heals at such a huge rate. And then giving them the opportunity to kind of, you know, fight back and reinitiate. So, I mean, yes, they got the kill on the axe, but that just went so horribly wrong for them after that. You know, using the Ancient Apparition solely just for the axe, it kind of let them use all their heals on everyone else and get their team back into the fight here. But we do see a bit of ratting coming out by the side of Aghanim, but General Grootwors is there to, you know, stop this nightmare of a ratting drow. She did take the tier mid. She did take the tier 1 mid in the meantime as well. So I mean, the kind of an even trade, I would think. I mean, they got the tier 1 mid, but then again they took the tier 1 here as well. And it looks like Malkis is gonna go down. So much damage, enough damage from the Dazzle as well as that Odie, who's now hitting really hard with his Arcane Orb. He really is hitting hard.
Yeah, Arcane Orb obviously doing a lot of work here, but it's mostly to negate the mana of, say, something like the Morphling. We saw him go down earlier precisely because he didn't have the mana to really do much of anything else. Couldn't really strength morph up, couldn't really out-tank it, which is what he usually does when he's on the run, and of course save a little bit of mana for the wave as well. Game Reaper, let's talk about his involvement. That Orb of Venom paid dividends towards the early stages of the match. Not sure if it'll progress into anything else. He's sitting there with his mana boots, the Arcane boots, as well as yet another smoke. So he's the playmaker for the time being, trying to make stuff happen across the map. Do we think he's succeeded?
Well, he's definitely given them a run for the money in the beginning. I mean, he's got 5 assists to his name. He's got 3 kills. So, in 13 minutes for an Ogre, that's not so bad. Unfortunately, he has died 4 times, but it's all purely to rotations. But, he's been giving them a hard time, which is good. I mean, I wouldn't get rid of the Orb of Venom right now. He doesn't really have anything else, so to keep it is all right. It's not going to really do much right now.
Better than an empty slot.
It's better than an empty slot, exactly. And the fact that he's got a Wind Lace, he's got his Ignite, and now he's got the Orb of Venom, he can literally just, if he gets on a one-on-one fight with Aghanim, for instance, and he just missed his silence, right now, he could solo kill that drow. So, I mean, for me, it's not something that it's a wasted item slot. No, I think it
Certainly
does.
not.
It pays dividends, and it really did early game as well. I mean, stacking up with that ignite, it really did.
Yep, as we see, obviously the Blink Dagger up on Porter. That's a key essential item for any Sand King hoping to be worth his salt
Oh yeah.
in sand. So to speak.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to go there. I couldn't help it. I just
Oh my
couldn't help
God, Wilson!
it. Nonetheless, the Blink Dagger buying him a lot of mobility across the map, allowing him to engage with the epicenter at any large team fight, which is an astounding amount of range between the Burrow Strike and the Blink Dagger. So that's going to
Yeah.
buy him a lot of initiation, and buy the whole side of TopK a opportunity to group on up as 5 and get themselves a few towers. They've got themselves the mid tower already, but they've got this bottom tower here, which could buy them a nice little pot of gold.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how well he did against an OD, which I was very surprised on. He had some good rotations as well. So he's actually done way better than I would expect him to do. And it does look like Voodoo is getting a little bit of harassment up in by the ruin spot there. But Wilson, let's go through the drafts and see how our teams fare with the gold and XP and everything.
Yep, let's quickly take a look. XP-wise, Sin 5 in the lead. No surprise here. They are doing pretty damn well in terms of spreading themselves out and maximizing the amount of experience that they're picking up. On the other side of the coin, though, the net worth graph also in their favor, but not all by that much. It was sitting on the side of TopK, and unfortunately, we are having a few connection issues.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, we've got some server lag here. It's got nothing to do with us, guys. I really am sorry. If you are watching in game, I apologize. There's nothing we can do about it. It's not us. It's not Telkom. It's not Telkom. Don't blame us. It's not us.
Well,
it is Valve. Blame Gaben.
yeah, certainly. Well, I mean, we saw Aghanim. He's been doing pretty damn well. If you take a look at his net worth, no surprise, it's Dragon Lanced up. And that's a very, very strong item, especially on a draft. Buys her that extra little bit of range and buys her that extra little bit of pushing potential. But the biggest thing about it is it buys them stats.
Yes, it does. It buys them a lot of stats. I mean, we initially saw a Drow go for the go for the Dragon Lance, and everyone was sitting there, oh, what the hell? But it essentially gives you the same stats as a Sanjan Yasha, and it's a lot cheaper. So bang for buck, it is amazing, and it's a really good item. You don't necessarily, it's not only for, ranged or whatever. It's a good item for any carry these days, looking for those extra stats early game, and for cheap.
Yep, certainly. Well, unfortunately, Cloud is doing even better. He's sitting there with his hand on minus already, about to finish up his power treads as well. With $1,000 in the bank, this guy's going to start getting obscenely large. Unfortunately, there's not all that much that the side of TopK can do, and this is what I was worried about in the draft. What are they going to actually manage to achieve up against this Outlaw Davari? He's starting to get really, really large.
Yeah, he's going to start hurting. He's going to really start hurting. And I expect a Scythe of Ice coming out from him since, they've got the Morphling there. And he's nowhere close to his Lincolns thanks to that, devastating tri-lane. So, I mean, they can essentially, if they do the objective Dota, they can really, really, really hurt the side of TopK right now. They could just steamroll, but they do need that Blink Dagger from Axe, which unfortunately is a bit late. So, I mean, you would like to have a Blink on your Axe at least 10 minutes in, 8 to 10 minutes in. He opted to go for the Vanguard because he was still trying to push the lanes, but I think he should have gone, but since he's got the Dazzle to back him up, he should have gone for that Blink first. I think they could have done a lot more on the map as 5.
Yep, certainly. Well, that's kind of the problem of putting the Axe in a tri-lane where he's not really going to walk away with a lot of farm.
He went for a Vanguard, though.
Yeah, he went for the Vanguard first also. But look, it's understandable that he went for the Vanguard first. He was having to tank quite a lot before anything major would happen. So it's understandable why he went for it. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Blink was the better choice.
Yeah, but he's got the Dazzle, so I mean, yeah, you can get away with the Stout Shield and, Ring of Protection with the Blink, early game, because heroes don't do that much damage early game. Yeah, you've got a Drow.
You're on the wrong side of life, my friend. Hide.
You've got the Drow with the Chilling Touch as well, so yes, it is quite harsh, but I mean, I still would have gone for a blink on Axe first, just so they could accomplish a bit more. Now they have to wait for this blink, and they're going to have to wait to make plays, because he's essentially their playmaker. He's their initiator.
Yeah, Game Reaper still stuck behind the trees here as the four-man lineup is there. Oh, immediately stunned will be Rubik. He's going to be a spot of trouble. There's the Shallow Grave expended on someone who's a support. So now the OD, who's taking a lot of damage in the front lines, is a spot of trouble. Now the Rubik will likely go down. He doesn't go down yet. He gets the lift off before going down. Sand King walking away with the kill there in the meantime. Cloud went into his little prison, but it's not for long. He is still dead. Out comes Voodoo. He's going to get a lot of hits in. That's a great spin from him. He's going to pick up a lot of damage onto most of the people there from TopK, but now he has to make a hasty escape. Picks up the stun from Game Reaper. Game Reaper making it happen. Draw Ranger walking away with the kill there, and General Grootbord says, well, you're not getting it for free. He walks on in, gets the dunk, and now has to pay for it himself. Thank the Lord that Aghanim is nearby, and he's getting a lot of hits in, and those arrows really, really hurt at range. He's in a spot of trouble here, Fling Flang. I don't think he's going to make it out of here. He's going to try and juke around the vision of the trees, but it's not going to be enough as Pora comes on in and finishes him off with the final burrow strike, and Aghanim walking away with yet another kill. That's a triple kill for this man, and I tell you now, this guy can make a lot happen with a lot of farm.
And unfortunately, since you've got the Morphling and the Jar right-clicking you for quite a bit of damage thanks to Precision Aura, that hurts. I won't lie, that must have hurt them. But also it's because, I mean, they kind of, I feel like they kind of were unsure in that fight. They went in like kind of one, like they were close, but they were kind of going in one after the other.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Dazzle, he was forced to use his Shallow Grave on the OD, and when finally Voodoo goes in, there's nothing left to save him, and he can't even heal him because Ancient Apparition got his ulti onto the Juggernaut. So, very, very bad fight. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of wrong.
Yeah.
They kind of went in 1-1, and then you've also got the Axe Berserker's Call, which is only sitting on level 1. So even if he calls someone, he doesn't disable them for long enough for the rest of the team to come in and do some damage. He doesn't call someone long enough to spin. So the damage, what you pick Axe for, is not really happening right now. There's no blink. There's no high level Berserker's Call. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All you can do is run away.
It's also the positioning of that Rubik in the early stages.
Yeah,
of the fight.
it was. Yeah, the
You're
positioning.
going to park yourself that far forward. You're going
Yeah.
to force the Shallow Grave from the Dazzle.
Yeah.
Yes, he does manage to get a lot of work done, the Rubik, but it's still, it's a lot to pay.
Yeah, to be honest, I would have just left him to die. If I was the team, I'd be like, okay, guys, we're going to lose this fight. But, you know, I mean, a lot of these second division, first division teams make that mistake. Like, I need to save that person who went in. It's not always advisable to go in after someone that's out of position, because you end up paying dearly, as so demonstrated. They've lost, what, they lost 4 heroes, 5 heroes now from that fight?
Yeah.
It was devastating, and it swings things quite into TopK's favor. I mean, they just got a lot of gold for that.
Yeah, well, if we take a look at the graph, you can see the effect of that fight just there. They went from a 1,005 or so deficit, the side of TopK, all the way to about 3,500 net worth ahead. So that was a huge swing that Sin5 kind of donated, I got a feel. Nonetheless, they're going to see what else they can make happen. One raindrop stack left on that infused raindrop, and he's again getting very cocky, very out of position here. There's a lot on the side of TopK that could walk away with the kill on a Rubik here in the mid lane. Not to mention, the least is the Sand King.
Yeah, and he's getting pretty fat now. I mean, he's sitting at level 11. He's got his blink. He's got his mana boots and a magic stick. Possibly saving for that veil. Maybe an Aghanim Scepter. I would see a veil come out of him a little bit sooner, because, I mean, they've got the Ancient Apparition as well. So a Veil of Discord, like, you know, comboed up with, you know, Sand King ulti and everything.
Aghanim making an appearance here in the bottom lane.
Silenced.
He's going to get a few hits in onto the Outworld Devourer. Fling Flang is nearby. His job is going to be keeping him alive in case things get out of hand. Unfortunately, no stun from Game Reaper means he does manage to back out far enough to dissuade the tides of battle from the side of TopK.
Yeah, they also saw the Dazzle in the side there. So, I mean, they were expecting probably a Shallow Grave. So, like, oh well, it's not worth it if we don't know who else is behind that tower, since we've only got this little ward here by the big camp. So they can't really see further than that. So, I mean, I think it's a wise decision to back out, because there were 4 heroes ready and waiting to jump in. And it does look like they're going for a quick smoke. But do they have the Blink Dagger Axe? Yes, they do. So they could potentially start rolling over this team now. They could potentially start, like, you know, that whole ball down mid, ball down the top, ball down this bottom. You can literally just run over the team. But I fear it might be a little bit too late for them now
Yep,
to
certainly.
start
In the
doing that. I
meantime,
mean, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, they could have done that with an early blink on Axe. I'm sorry, I know keep going back to this, but I play Axe enough to know what you need to do on him. And
well, you play Axe enough to love him enough.
it's just for me that would have. I mean, with the steamroll that Voodoo was on, you know, the TP and the support rotations were brilliant. To have that early blink dagger, to have the little more levels and call, it would have been devastating. Do look like they're going to choose to try go onto Game Reaper here, but. Okay, they do have a ward spotting out the Axe rotation, so they immediately move back. Ooh, but a Game Reaper gets caught out by the Omni Slash, and he goes down instantly.
Too damn close. Porter, though, he's going for the ulti. It's not going to connect onto anything. He's opted to back on out there, and I suspect he was saying, well, maybe not quite worth the risk. The General Grootborst is nearby, and I'm pretty sure they checked his inventory because they now know, they're behaving as though they know that the Axe is running around with that blink. DJ Vega, in the meantime, as I was about to say, is quietly pushing here in the top lane, getting a lot of farm done. Cloud is going to come and put an end to that after having taken that tower towards the bottom lane. And TopK back to a little bit of a passive stance. They do lead in kills, but not quite so much in objectives anymore.
Yeah, well, they can opt to split push the Morphling every time they try, that Sinister 5 try come push a tower. It does force maybe a TP or two out, so then they can, you know, start farming and getting control over their map again. But like I said, I do feel like it's a bit late for Sinister 5 to like steamroll over the enemy team. I think they should have done that 10 minutes ago. They could have done that 10 minutes ago and potentially be at racks right now. Yeah, they needed that blink. They could have taken their first racks by now if they played this a different way.
Well, given that that's the way the cookie didn't crumble, where do we see this happening?
What do I see happen? I see a lot of back and forth between the teams now. I mean, it's going to come down to who's in the best position, who initiates on who. And as we've seen in the past, it doesn't matter who initiates on who. It's your positioning that counts at the moment. So I think the placement of the heroes is going to be important in these team fights.
Yeah, it always is. I mean, it's hero placement pretty much determines whether or not the fight is going to go your way. Nonetheless, Ancient Apparition running around with his own recipe of a hand of Midas there, so he's going to go for that catch-up. Midas at the 20-minute mark is pretty damn late. It's only going to start paying off much, much, much later. DJ Vega, in the meantime, getting in so much damage towards this bottom tower, and it looks like the side of Sin 5 have opted not to contest it unless... Yep, they do spot him out. Juggernaut hits the deck before he gets a chance to say much of anything, and the Morphling walks away with yet another head in his pouch.
Yeah, perfectly executed kill there. They did not stack up their stuns. They kept the Juggernaut disabled for as long as possible, and that's exactly the way you need to play it with a hero with an escape or magic immunity for a spell. So they really, really did do well there, and executed that kill pretty clean.
Yeah, they played coy as though they didn't know he was there, but nonetheless they did fling flang. Getting a little far forward, he's walking straight into trouble here. Porter gonna go for the first stun, second stun coming through from Game Reaper, and he's immediately gonna get nuked down. DJ Vega walking away with yet another kill. There's the call, but it's not gonna land onto anything. Game Reaper's stuck in his own little prison. He will be going down, but that is a lot to pay for it in the interim, however. The Burrow Strike from Rubik. Yes, some sort of spice. Rubik, Burrow Strike from Rubik is the thing that solidifies that kill there. DJ Vega. Spot of trouble here. Out goes the Lincoln Sphere. He does get imprisoned. Picks up a world of damage. They drop the hammer just for him. And that means that the Outworld Devourer will be taking down the big boy in the form of the Morphling.
That ulti melted the Morphling.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a damn expensive spell to expend on a single dude.
No, not if it's the enemy carry. You do whatever the hell you need to kill that thing. I mean, a Morphling is a hero that, first of all, has an escape and can strength morph while being stunned. So it's a hard hero to kill. It really, really is. So if you get a chance to kill a Morphling, you kill it. Like, well, that's at least my perspective on it.
Yeah, certainly. It's Morphling, it's difficult to take down, and it gets obscenely huge if you leave him be, and eventually his illusions will start taking down your towers, taking down your heroes. It's not something you want to deal with, so if you can take him down in the early stages, certainly do so. But we're already at the mid stages of the game here.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like you should be keeping that for something a little bigger.
What, your OD ulti?
Yeah.
No, that is the biggest thing on the map right now.
No, not a single thing that's bigger. I mean, like a fat team fight.
Well, there's no real team fights to be had right now. I mean, they just had that massive team fight of the dewarding
And why do you
session.
think that is?
No, but look, if you go back to what happened, they had that team fight there, the dewarding war, right?
Yeah.
Where two heroes essentially walked. Okay, first the Jug died, and then the Dazzle goes. Just as he dies there, the Dazzle tries to go deward that. So then there was a big cluster of heroes that basically had the big team fight, and Morphling was just on his way out. He was trying to run away. So I mean, you know, having that ODLT available was actually a really good thing. So I mean, they did have a mini team fight, so to speak, already.
Sure. Well, DJ Vega, well on his way towards the shotgun, got $1,400 in the bank for that purpose. In the meantime, a cheeky little bit of dewarding here going on from the side of TK. And Sin 5 probably going to be looking towards picking up their next tower.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, but they are gathered here as well, and we do have the Drow not really caring, going for that Aghanim Scepter build, so that's going to really, really hurt and add a bit of team fight element towards her as well. But I mean, we do see they are doing the scan, and they do scan out the side of the Dire, so they do know that they're there. They don't have any wards there, but they are using a scan.
Explode, and Game Reaper's going to make it happen in all likelihood. He's advancing quite far. He's pretty damn tank, but he's not that tank anymore. This is dangerous positioning from him.
It is dangerous positioning, but he's got 200 more HP than the Rubik, so he's still tanky as far as supports go. But this could potentially be horrific here. Oh, God,
beautifully done. The stuns are good. Drow Ranger walking away with the kill there onto the Rubik. Now Pora going in for a nice epicenter. It's only going to connect onto one. The call is there though, and Axe is trying to get out of there. Catches the stun from Game Reaper. In the meantime, in the lane, Cloud is facing down DJ Vega, who doesn't really want to get too involved. Drow Ranger walking away with the kill on the Axe in the first instance. Now Voodoo gets involved. He's going to start Omni slashing. Pora taking a lot of damage. There's the Astral Imprisonment. Not sure if that was the right call, as he is stunned immediately, the Outworld Devourer, and down he will go. Morphling walking away with yet another kill here. $326 in the bank for him. In the meantime, Flink Flank trying to make a hasty escape, does pick up the stun, and that is going to be a very dead boy burger.
As Wilson hears far too often from me, vision wins you games.
Why do you say
Wilson, buy wards! Why is there no wards on the map, Wilson? No, but like, I mean, that was a perfect initiation there. I mean, Game Reaper and the Rubik, they were just, you know, toe on toe. The Rubik didn't know that he was there. He had the nice little fog of war. So the thing is, Sinister 5 did know that they were around that area, but they didn't know exactly where, because they had no vision there. So, I mean, having that advantage on the side of TopK, it just won them that fight. They could pretty much predict what was going to happen there.
This poor guy's just got dewarded, though. I mean, it's not exactly the guy's fault.
Yeah,
nonetheless, 25 minutes in, pressure up onto the top tower. DJ Vega, his eyes set on the prize. And out comes the cliff for a tier 2.
It's easy tier 2. Very easy tier 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was entirely merited. Do you think maybe TopK can make something else happen here? No, I guess not. The callers are back on off.
I honestly maybe would have pushed a little bit more, but seeing that the whole enemy team is up, the ultis are all up except for the Jug, and he's obviously got a very low cooldown in his ulti as well, being level 2. So maybe it is the better thing to do, but then they could have maybe gone to go rush or, you know, something to that effect. But I don't think I would have pushed. I would have pushed the tier 3 there, even though they did use the glyph on the tier 2. It's still a bit risky, especially with an Axe call, with an OD ulti being up. It's a bit risky.
Hurricane Pike out on the Outworld Devourer. Now that's an item that is absolutely merciless when in the hands of something like an Outworld Devourer that enjoys the extra intelligence stats, enjoys the extra mobility as well.
Yes, it definitely is.
Oh, Game Reaper.
A
A little bit of cat and mouse here. As Game Reaper is following Rubik about. Dangerous course of action has got to be said. There is detection on him. And Game Reaper's just basically playing ward at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
He's right in the middle of it all.
He can't really take on anyone.
This guy's a
solo
spy.
right now.
You know what this is? This is Team Fortress 2, and he is the spy. Because, I mean, this is not the first time this game we've seen him be behind the enemy lines very, very deep.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
about
position
to.
where he would be in a serious amount of trouble.
He's about to run out, so he better get out of there. But I don't think he can actually solo kill the Rubik at the moment either.
No, he's got too many friends.
He's got too many friends. But even if he was, you know, one-on-one Rubik, I don't think he would have been able to.
Yep, certainly. Well, there is a replay queued on up for us of the previous team fight, but I don't think now's the time, as the Dazzle does pop out the smoke. They're going to walk into DJ Vega, and I don't think you'll see it coming. Out comes the stun. It's good. Now Rubik going to be in a spot of trouble. Out comes the Shallow Grave yet again onto him, but the team fight is spectacular. Beautifully done there. Sand King walking away with the kill onto the axe, and that is 2 down. One down on each side. Very, very beautifully timed there from the epicenter of the Sand King. Now Aghanim in a spot of trouble. Voodoo giving chase, and immediately he has to back on out as Pura misses the burrow strike, unfortunately. And Voodoo's just getting slowed on up by Aghanim as the retreat is called. Oh no, DJ Vega getting very, very close. Yeah, the spin is forced out, and that should be the end of that. Ended up only being a 1-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, after all of that.
I thought, that everything had landed at the same time.
After all of that, they only take down the axe, but it was quite a showing.
Yeah, certainly. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't as spectacular as we had hoped, but it was not too bad. Pora, in the meantime, picked up himself an ether lens, giving him that extra range for initiation, that extra range for landing in the epicenter at just the right moment.
Yeah, can we take a look at the graphs and see how it swings at the moment? I mean,
no surprises there. TopK now sitting at the 6,000 XP difference, and soon to follow that net worth graph as well at about 6,002. In the meantime, though, Morphling doing pretty damn well, and he's working his way towards his Eye of Skadi with that point booster in tow. In the meantime, Voodoo sitting on that Juggernaut. He's got himself a fair amount of farm, got himself his Manta Style. That's going to help things out quite a fair bit. The Blade of Alacrity sitting in the back lines. That's going to be built into something rather large coming up if you're not very careful at all. 4 staff on the axe. Interesting choice of items, as it does buy him up a lot of mobility. And that's going to mean he can engage from even further away, or of course get somebody out of trouble. It's very much a utility axe, not the kind you usually see in games. AVB, in the meantime, who's just suffering a little bit of burn damage still here in the Ignite. Not doing all too well, but it's to be expected. He's sitting on that hard support role. Game Reaper, our dear spy over here, he's working his way towards the mechanism. It's going to help him out in the team fight. Although there's a touch late, coming in at more or less the 30-minute mark if he continues to farm. Doesn't look like it's even going to be 30 minutes unless he does get fed a few kills. In the meantime, the Hand of Midas paying dividends here for the Ancient Apparition, who obviously is working his way towards the Aghanim Scepter. Porter, in the meantime, also getting an Aghanim Scepter of his own. That's going to buy him a fair amount of nuke in the form of the Epicenter that is buffed up. DJ Vega, we've discussed it already, shotgun up and running, and Aghanim, the last guy to review the items for, he's running around with a Hurricane Pike of his own. Very strong item for the Drow. Buys her a lot of mana as well, but that's not the primary purpose, is it?
No, it is not. Sorry, boys. I had to run an errand, and I'm joking. Sorry, Wilson.
Not a problem. Just took a look at the item progression of a few guys. We were talking about the something like the future of the GG boots there on the Ogre Mage, but it's very, very late for those.
It is not that late. I mean, it's a bit late for a mech, but GG boots not really. GG boots not really, because it debuffs any negative effects that the enemy team puts on them. So preemptive Shallow Grave, do not kill me.
Don't touch me. I'm sorry, Sand King. Don't touch me.
The Aghanim Scepter on the Drow, however, I don't think I would have gotten it this early. Yes, it gives her nice stats, but she's not really right-clicking that hard. And I mean, yes, you got the Morphling shotgun up and ready, but I mean, he's kind of been monstrous this game, to be honest. So I mean, yeah, they've got the Morphling there. I think if there wasn't another carry, I don't think the Drow Aghanim's this early, unless she's got everything up and running within 20 minutes.
Yep, certainly. Well, the team bunches on up towards the bottom lane. Looks like they're looking for a little bit of blood in the jungle here. This is a great opportunity for the supports for the side of TopK to get a little bit of vision down. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they have it, and that's a little depressing, if you ask me. It's a little sad.
Why do you think it's depressing, Wilson?
It saddens me when supports don't have vision.
Oh, no. It supports... No. Wilson is lying. Wilson is lying, ladies and gentlemen. No. It's sad when they don't have items. In the Rubik's got pretty standard items for, position 4, position 5. Kind of maybe needs that 4-staff like right now, but he's almost there. I mean, you've got the Dazzle, sitting at poor boots, and
Poor man.
Just that poor man boots. Well, not poor man boots. He's got his arcane boots, and he's got his inner shadows up as well. So not that bad for position 5. On the side of TopK, though, you've got a very, very rich AA, and that's all thanks to that lovely hand of Midas. And
Easy
then
rush.
easy rush. And then you've got Aghanim. Sorry, you've got Game Reaper, who's essentially the poor support here, and it makes a lot of sense because they're going to rely a lot on that Ancient Apparition ulti to negate any form of heal that the Jug or the Dazzle will, contribute to the team fight. So he's obviously going to take preference in this.
Now, Aegis in tow. Now TopK looking for a little bit of blood, I'm sure. The Morphling, very, very, very strong. And he can basically walk up to a tower, beat the living hell out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Not have to worry all that much because he does have the Aegis to keep
shame,
himself
Fing
alive.
Fang, and preemptive shallow graving yet again. But I think he's going to fit dead there. Oh!
Kind of pays off. It burns out a lot of spells from DJ Vega, but eventually it does run out, the shallow grave, and Morphling walks away with the kill. Immediately gets on back. What a coward. But quite rightly so. General was not too far away, and AVB wasn't too far away.
We've got initiation here from the Sand King.
It's pretty good in the mid lane. AVB's dropping very low, picks up the stun and immediately melts down to the Sand King, who will walk away with yet another little bit of gold in his boots. Now Sin 5, 2 men short, 3 men up against 5. I don't think they can really contest this tower if the Morphling gets his watery butt in here.
No, there's not much they can do, but I mean, the Dazzle is back in 15 seconds, the Rubik's back in 30, so I don't think they'll be able to do all that much. They might be able to do some chip damage to the tower, but now with the Drow and the Drow and the Chilling Touch with the Morphling, I mean, the Bloodlust, your carries are just hitting really hard and really fast. So, I mean, no need for a Shadow Demon this game, I would say.
Yeah, no need for it this time around, although it could have still been useful.
Oh, no, it would have been useful, but I mean, you've got Drow Aura, you've got Precision Aura, you've got Bloodlust and Chilling Touch. I mean, what else do you need as a carry, honestly?
There's not much else you can do. In the meantime, Porter towards the bottom lane here has his Aghanims completed, just waiting for use of the courier, and that's going to be greedy Game Reapers who picked it up. Flying on its way there is a completed mechanism at 31 minutes. Not all that great, but it's it's not going to hurt.
Definitely won't hurt. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think it's very, very good.
Look, with this much free reign over the map as TopK has, I wouldn't be surprised if this graph was off the charts. Unfortunately, it's not there yet. 7.5 thousand net worth in favor of TopK as they gear on up for what is inevitably the slideshow of the century when they jump on up to the high ground.
Look, Game Reaper's been everywhere. I mean, he's got 17 assists to his name. He's been involved in 20 of the 26 kills.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's been really active on the map, and my hat goes off to him. I mean, obviously, he's going to be the one dying quite a bit. He's a poor position 5, but
and I love this.
he should be able to get up those Guardian Greaves in the next 10 minutes, I would say. And that's going to do a lot for his team. It's going to give them extra everything. It's going to take off any negative debuffs.
We've been kind of missing here, sorry,
Yeah.
towards the bottom lane, and it's weird. It's like they're going in, but not quite. Going in, but not quite. I think they're more afraid. Yes,
Afraid. They're afraid.
I am afraid.
I be afraid. Be very, very afraid.
Yes. I think they're more afraid of the slideshow than anything else. And AVB, he does have a few tricks up his sleeve. Doesn't have anything stolen yet. There's the shotgun. Is it going to be enough to kill him? No.
No.
By about 50 HP, DJ Vega doesn't just walk away with a cheeky kill and nothing else. I don't know. How do you push up onto the high ground here if you were TopK?
You would have to have the Sand King initiate. Only way. And it's going to be up in 2 seconds, so I think they're going to have to do that. And then just have the Drow and... I mean, yeah, you can have them kill things, but I would have one of the carries focusing the tower while the rest of the team fight. At least just throw out your silence or something. But I mean, the Drow can get into range of the tower, no problem. I mean, look how much damage it's doing. Yeah, they're forcing out a glyph at least. So I mean, they just need to keep this momentum going. Keep cancelling the blink of the axe of the blink of the axe of with that ignite from the ogre. So then he can't initiate for his team. So. It's just keep doing chip damage, and eventually that tower's going to go down. I mean, the glyph is down, the tower's sitting at 233 HP. I mean, easy push.
This is buying Juggernaut a little bit of space to get a little bit of split push going here. He does abandon the lane immediately. I think they suspected he was on, well, the side of TopK was on their way to come pick him off. And Cloud picks up the ulti. Oh, the shotgun's good. It's not going to be enough, though. And in comes the ulti from Potter. It's good. It's going to be enough to take down both the Dazzle. Sorry, just the Dazzle. And now joining him in the grave will be the Outworld Devourer. Rubik hits the deck as well. Axe has nothing left to say as he gets melted away by Aghanim. And that is the end of this bottom rack. Surely, whilst the Omni Slash is still going from the Juggernaut. He's going for the spin as well now. Does manage to walk away with a kill, but I suspect he's not going to make it much out anyway. Cloud comes on in with the buyback, picks up for 2 times, multicast stun, and is now starting to melt under the effects of DJ Vega. If he goes down, I don't see much hope for the Sin 5 holding on here. He does go down, and GG, well played, is called by Sin 5. Very nice game all around, but unfortunately, TopK walking away with it again, and you know, the fans were right. The statistics favored the side of Sin 5, especially considering they'd only built those statistics from about 2 weeks.